Hello friends! Today William and I are out driving the new base model Taycan. Very interesting model within the Porsche range and something that I think will sell very well. And a bit like in the 911 range, I've found the further down the range, the more fun they are to drive and the more enjoyable they are to own. What are you talking about, Nick? How can further down in the range be better? Well, in the 911 range, that's certainly the case. You drive a base model 911 against a Turbo S, the base model is so much more enjoyable to drive. So much more engaging, doesn't have all the nonsense on it, which sucks the enjoyment out of owning that car. Well, that's true here in the Taycan range as well. This car is half the price of the Turbo S Taycan, but this car is better in almost every way than a Turbo S Taycan. What are you talking about, Nick? Well, let me explain. So yes, this is a new model within the Taycan range, and there's no question, it's here to hit a price point. And the next model up as well, the Cross Turismo 4, a beautiful looking model, that would be my choice within the range, also there to hit a price point. That one's 90,000, this is 80,000 base before options. So half the price of the Turbo S Taycan. But the Turbo S Taycan is so much faster, Nick. That must be a better car. No. It's great for all us YouTubers to drive those cars, and I've done it myself, drive those cars, put your foot down, be pinned into the seat, talk about how amazing the 0 to 60 time is. That is fantastic, but in reality, you know, that party trick wears thin very quickly and really sucks some of the enjoyment out of owning that car. Because you put your foot down, you're at the speed limit in 2 seconds, but you never get to push the car. And of course, with the Turbo S, both 911 and Taycan, you get a bunch of extra bits and pieces which really don't make the car any more fun to drive. For example, in the 911 Turbo S, you have to have ceramic brakes, the PDCC, the PDK transmission, the all-wheel drive. All of these things actually suck the fun out of owning that car compared to the base model 911. Well, that's true here in the Taycan as well. So this Taycan, this base Taycan, 80,000, it's $10,000 less than the next model up. What are they taking out to get to that price point? Well, there's 3 major things coming out of this car. First of all, it has a lower capacity battery. In fact, I think this is the only model with the lower battery in it, the 80 kilowatt battery, which has an EPA range of 200 miles. 200 miles, Nick. Isn't that the same range as the Turbo S has? Yes, that's right. You're not actually losing any range. In fact, you're gaining range, because the reality is that the range on this car is superior to the Turbo S Taycan. Having no front engines, which we'll get to in a minute, just makes this car a little bit more efficient, and because you're not constantly launching yourself everywhere, yeah, you get a lot more range out of this model. But if you have a bit of range anxiety and you want the better battery, for $5,000 you can bump up to the 93 kilowatt battery if you like. But it's not necessary. The real range people seem to be getting out of this car is about 250 miles, which is plenty. The second item that they pull out to make the price point within this car is, of course, as I mentioned, the front engine. So this is a rear-wheel drive only car. Once again, it's the only model in the range at the moment with rear-wheel drive only, and you might go, oh, Nick, but I need four-wheel drive. It snows sometimes where I live. No, you don't. You just need winter tires. That's all most people ever need, because winter tires help you turn, brake, get going. All-wheel drive really doesn't help you that much in inclement weather. And there's some big benefits to not having all-wheel drive in this car. The biggest being, this is a much more efficient model. Not dragging around those extra engines, 5 to 10% more efficient, which is why this has got a better range than the top of the line Turbo S model. Not to mention, having rear-wheel drive makes this car considerably more fun to drive. It can be a little skittish. If you turn the traction control off, you can actually get the rear end out a little bit. It's a true rear-wheel drive hot rod, this car. I mean, this is still a heavy EV, but you wouldn't know it driving. You know, it feels nimble. It really is a pleasure to drive. So yes, rear-wheel drive, not a big deal. In fact, my preference. And the third thing they pull out is the air suspension. Now, once again, you'll be going, oh, but you need the air suspension, it makes it smoother. Oh man, this car is silky smooth even without it. You know, Porsche has done an excellent job with their steel suspension lately. It's still double wishbone, it still handles beautifully, rides flat. Yes, air suspension is certainly a nice to have. I mean, you can feel a few of the bumps, and you feel a little bit more of the texture of the road, which I think some people would say they would prefer. You feel a little bit more of it through the steering wheel, but it's still a lovely ride. Has to be a pretty nasty bit of road in order to make the air suspension worthwhile. Don't get me wrong, I love air suspension. It is a great feature. It allows you to lower the car a little bit or raise the car in poor conditions. But is it necessary? No. This is a beautiful car without it. So the one feature that I would consider getting in this car, which is quite expensive, is the Porsche Torque Vectoring Plus. It is an important feature on the rear-wheel drive Porsches. It really makes the car a proper two-wheel drive at the back instead of whichever wheel has the least traction. Is it necessary? No. It's not like you're going to slide out of control without it, because the Porsche traction management system kicks in whenever one of the wheels lets go. But with the Porsche Torque Vectoring, you do notice considerably more grip, particularly in wet and snowy conditions. So we'll do a little acceleration test here to show you that it's no slouch in bed, even though it's the base model. I'll just pull out into the road here, come to a stop and punch it. So yeah, it's got plenty of pickup. It's plenty fast enough, but most of all it feels fast because of all that torque of that engine. Yeah, it's really a pleasure to drive, both fast and just to cruise along in. It's a silky smooth ride. But yeah, I'm going to turn the electronic sports sound off because it's unnecessary. It's just nice to drive in the serenity. So really what I'm getting at here is this car's price point is excellent without any options. What I'm going to do now is we're going to go through the options that this car has, and we'll talk about some of the options. But what I'm really encouraging you to do is try and skip as many options as you can, because like any Porsche, whoa, big bits of metal on the road. Yeah, like any Porsche, it's diminishing returns with all of these options. You pay through the nose for expensive options that don't really make the car that much better. And that's certainly true of this base model. You can make it a complete stripper, and it's still a beautiful car to own and drive. No need to be loading it up with a bunch of options. So there's about $18,000 worth of options on this car, maybe a little more than it needs, but let's go through them and have a look. The first option is $800 for the color Volcano Grey. I actually owned a Macan in this color for a short time. It's so neutral and boring, it depressed me. I had to get rid of that car very quickly. Yes, there's just no excuse for buying a Porsche Taycan in boring colors like white, black, grey or silver anymore. They offer so many fantastic colors. Gentian blue, frozen blue, Mamba green, obviously one of my favorites. This beautiful mahogany metallic is lovely. Frozen berry metallic, coffee beige, Neptune blue, carmine red, and this cherry metallic, which is a special expensive option on the 911, $800 on the Taycan. Just so beautiful. So yes, stop buying boring colors, everybody. There's so many great colors in the Taycan now. Next, for $4,700 is this beautiful red two-tone leather, which is a nice contrast to that grey exterior. Porsche leather is expensive, but there is 3 leather options, including a nice limestone beige and black two-tone that is actually free and looks pretty good. $280 gets you the heated steering wheel. $2,770 gives you the 20-inch Sport Aero wheels, pretty cool. $570 gets you the Porsche crest on the headrest on the front and back seats. $500 gets you the Porsche electric sport sound. I think everyone can do without that silly thing. And the most expensive option is the premium package at $7,080, which includes 8-9 things that if you bought them all separately would be about 20% more. The premium package includes the full fixed panoramic sunroof, the Porsche dynamic lighting system, the 14-way seats with memory pack, the excellent Bose sound system, although in the Taycan the standard sound system is actually not too bad as well. The lane change assist, which really should be standard Porsche. The seat ventilation in the front. The excellent surround view. Watch out, little doggies, I'll run you over. The multicolored ambient lighting, and the ionizer and storage package. Otherwise, the base Taycan gets all the good and weird stuff that you find in most Taycans. For example, the wraparound LED dash, the venting wheel arches, the grossly over-engineered vents, the terrible rear visibility, the double charging points, that is one on each side, the tiny trunk, the excellent leg room in the rear but with terrible headroom, and of course the door handles that pop out. Okay, so my final thoughts are, this car is just a pleasure to drive, and I think it would be a pleasure to own as well. There's really no downside to having the base model. In fact, plenty of upsides, I think. Personally, I think I'd probably pay the 10 grand more and get the Cross Turismo, the next one up, because I love the look, the bigger battery, the air suspension, but this one has its own charms with its rear-wheel drive and its lower price point. Either way, I think I'd be delighted. EVs really are starting to become quite mainstream and quite a pleasure to own. And the final thing I'll say today is, if you're looking to buy any of these cars, whether it's the base model, the Cross Turismo, or any of the other models, and you're not getting looked after by your own dealer here in the US, feel free to email me and I'll put you in touch with the general manager of my dealership here in Connecticut. They ship all over the country. And they have preset discounts for my viewers. They look after my viewers very, very well, so I look after them. It's a win-win situation. So yeah, they've got plenty of allocation, so give me a yell on this email address if you're looking to buy one of these cars. So that's it from me and William. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye then. And if you're wondering where to acquire the ridiculous t-shirts that I wear in my videos, they're all here in my store, all your favorites, including offensive stamps and my rapid dry towels as well. Yes, Nick Murray t-shirts, being a little inappropriate since 2016.